Okay, well, this is for the Pop and Rockers. This is lesson number 2, which should have been downloaded yesterday, but I had one of the two things to do, and I had a couple of students yesterday morning online. So, basically, I thought let's have an early start this morning and let's get this down. So, what I want to talk about with you today is I mentioned plectrums in the last video. And when you hold the plectrum, imagine, see that there with your finger, that finger there is kind of in line with the tip of the plectrum. Okay, so you get that. Now you'll notice straight away, see these, now as with the other style, when we sat, we rested the thumb on these strings and then vice versa. With the classical technique, or finger picking technique for that matter, with plectrum technique, it's good to anchor the fingers like that. Sometimes you'll get a guard on some guitars. Right. Anyway, right, we're going to start with a simple scale because scales are great for plectrum technique. And one or two of my private pupils, we've talked about this. So we're just going to take two versions of the A minor pentatonic. So basically this is the first version. For the beginners, we've got the second finger starts on the 2nd fret, 3rd string. Yep, notice second finger. Please don't do that. Don't just settle for one finger. This is the whole point, and the whole good point about this lockdown business is that we can perfect, and we've got time to perfect these techniques. So there, look, second finger, right? We're still in first position, which means the thumb's in line with the 1st fret. I've talked about that being a back rod for your thumb, thumbs up behind the back of the neck, yep, and in the middle. On some of your guitars, I've put a little piece of tape by tradition, that's gone on the back, so you keep it there. So there we go. So play that note, okay? Then after we play that note, we're going to move to the 2nd string, 1st fret, and we're going to play that note. Notice I'm checking this hand as well with the right hand. Obviously it's the other way around if you're left-handed. Then the 3rd finger then plays on the 2nd string, 3rd fret, so you'll play that. Then you're going to play an open 1st string. Then you're going to play a 3rd fret on the 1st string. Then miss a fret. Now watch what happens here. This 3rd finger does a nifty little glide to the 5th fret on the 1st string. Okay, so I'll run through that. So 3rd string, 2nd fret, 2nd string, 1st fret, 2nd string, 3rd fret, 1st string open, 1st string, 3rd fret, and then miss a fret, glide that 3rd finger up to the 5th fret. Now, strictly speaking, when we get to here, we've arrived in what we call 3rd position. Do you know why it's called that? Well, again, we've talked about this, right? It's because the 1st finger is now in line, even though that finger's landed on the 5th fret, the 1st finger is in line with the 3rd fret. So you get that, you see? So you've got that. So there's 1st position that we started in. Then we glide up and we've landed there in 3rd position. The thumb is now in line with the 3rd fret. Okay, so I'll play through that scale. Okay, and then watch this hand. So go on. And again, if you need to anchor yeah, okay. Now, when you do that scale, notice the plectrum technique. Now, when I did it, you start it with simply down strokes, just to get a little bit of confidence. Then, when you play each note, you're going to do a down stroke, then try an up stroke, then a down, then an up, then a down, then an up. Yeah? Okay, so that's doing this close up. So here we go. So we've got down, up, down, up, down, up. Yeah. So that's the simple version of the A minor pentatonic. For the more advanced pupils, right, which they know who they are, who have been looking at the rock school grade, well, and the London College of Music grade for that matter, this is the position you'll get. You start in 5th position on the 6th string, so it's a down, the classic A minor pentatonic, closely related to the blues scale. Yeah. Anyway, okay, so I'm a bit out of focus there. There I am back again. Okay, so we're going to run through that in case you haven't tried it. So it starts on the 6th string, 5th fret. So you're in line with the 5th fret. You're in 5th position. So the first finger now is in line with the 5th fret. So we're going to play that 5th fret. Okay. Thumb is behind the back of the neck in line with the 5th fret wire. Yep. Always line it up if you're stuck. Line it up and slide it behind the back in the middle. So you play that one. Now here's the tricky bit that nobody likes, but it's got to be done. Reach with the 4th finger. So I always refer to it as at 1-4 because we're just working in these 4 frets. It's as simple as that. It's a finger a fret. But we're needing finger 1, miss out finger 2 and 3, finger 4. Go to the next string, 5th string, finger 1 comes down at the 5th fret, finger 3 at the 7th, then we go to the next string, 4th string, finger 1 at the 5th fret, finger 3 at the 7th, next string, again we've got finger 1 at the 5th, on the 3rd string we've got finger 3 at the 7th on the 3rd string, then we move to the 2nd string, we've got finger 1 at the 5th fret, reach up with finger 4 to the 8th fret, and then we've got finger 1. So here we go. So you've got, okay, a little bit more of a close-up for you. Notice again the plectrum technique. Okay, so we've got down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, and that's where soloing comes from. I did do a little bit extra there because sometimes you get repeated notes going up, but you can keep that position. So there's 2 types of scale. Now for confidence with this plectrum, right, you can give yourself little rhythms to do. So we can start basically with just on one note. Let's take the simple version of the A minor. It's not simple. It's for the beginners, it's a challenge. So not every level has its difficulties. That's the whole point of the climb. Yeah. Now watch this. So we can go like this. We can go down, up, down, up, just on that 3rd string, 2nd fret. Then go to the next note of that pentatonic minor scale. Remember, 2nd string, 1st fret. Then the next one. See what's happening? Again, you can anchor the hand if you want, like that. As you get with it, you'll notice I don't, because the hand automatically should stay where it is. Okay, so we'll go through that again, but this time I'm going to go on to quavers. So I'm going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So so we've got crotchets 1, 2, 3, 4, and then quavers 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we can go on to semi-quavers 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Or So you can go 1 eander, 2 eander, 3 eander, 4 eander. Almost sounds like a mandolin. Yeah. So I hope that'll help a little bit with the, firstly, the two scales, the two versions of the scales, the more advanced version and then the intermediate version. And then we've also got the plectrum technique, just playing each note of the scale and doing the different rhythms. Okay, right, I think it's time for a bit of fun. And again, we talked about the power chords in the last lesson, and we did the Rocky theme. Yeah. Now, this is another popular theme, and it's Smoke on the Water, which is one you often get asked to play. And it is a classic, to be fair. Let's get back in focus. It is a classic, to be fair, because, there we go. It's a good one, again, for getting used to, like with the Rocky theme, yeah. Smoke on the Water. Anyway, I'll play it. So it's like this. Yeah. Now notice I got quite a good sound there out of this Spanish guitar. As I say, I have got the electric guitar that will come out, it's bound to, during this period of lockdown. But anyway, never mind. Basically, let's go through it. So, remember, I said to the beginners, remember, first finger. I don't want any other finger used. It's not good enough to use the... I know the second's a strong finger, but it's not going to work. It's not going to be of benefit, and it really does my head in throughout the lessons when I see people refusing to use the first finger. So come on, make this time useful so that when we come back to our lessons, lo and behold, soon, you know, this sort of stuff will have been perfected, which will be to your benefit. So watch this then. So I'm going fret 3, fret 6, fret 8. Okay, and then I go fret 3, fret 6, this time 9, 8, then I go 3, 6, 8, 6, 3, yeah, okay, so I'll just run through it. When you get used to that, you can try it anyway, you can do it anywhere around the fretboard within reason. You get used to the fret gaps, but notice how I use that first thing. And remember what I said with the diagonal power chord. The first finger goes there and the third finger's diagonal, okay? And that's what's going on there, yeah? Okay, so now what you can do to start with is just do basic. So we've got, there's one, sorry, fret 3, 1, strum. Notice the plectrum, meant to say, is brushing past the 6th and 5th string. So look at that. You'll also notice for the advanced players, I'm palm muting. So I'm creating a slight little bit of distorted sound that you would get on an electric guitar with the press of a button. But look at that. Right, so I'm just resting the side of my hand, the palm of my hand over, thus palm mute, PM for short, over the bridge. See near that white? So you've got that. There's an interesting rhythm for you, isn't it? So you got like... Oh, notice how the emphasis is... you can try things like that. But anyway, yeah, so there it is then. So we've got now, what some of you can do is you can link all this together. So for instance, we could just do a power chord like this. So you maybe try this. You could set this as a rhythm track. So you've got this going on. Just keep that going, and then what you'll do behind that, do 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 done something like that in some of the we have, and we even performed it, which was quite effective. But yes, so you can set that. Now you can do that or experiment a little bit of that and keep playing it back. Just looking down the list here, we'll do another London College of Music chord progression next time, because I'm just looking at my timer here. I've spent quite a bit of time looking at technique with the plectrum, but what I would like to look at is a little bit of rhythm. Yeah. Now, I mentioned a piece called House of the Rising Sun. Okay, and it used some of the chords, out the families. Yeah. So basically, I'll run through these. We've got an A minor chord, right? We've got a C chord. Now the C, you've got your third finger on the 5th string 3rd fret, second finger on the 4th string 2nd fret, and you've got your first finger on the 2nd string, which is on the 1st fret. So there's that FSF. Notice how I said finger first, then string, then fret. Yeah, I'm always using that principle. Now then, there's minimum movement here, because from the A minor, notice how I did that with the plectrum as well. I did a just all down, which is classed as what they call a fancy word arpeggio. Then a minimum movement. See that 3rd finger, again, we have mentioned this in some of the lessons in various schools. And then that comes on. So it's the same 5 strings. I'm going from the 5th string. And again, remember the root note you're strumming from. We're going from the 5th string, from the A, the C major, the 5th string. Now then, the next chord there, I'm anticipating it there, is the D major upside down triangle shape. We've talked about shapes a little bit in the last lesson. Strumming from the 4th string. Then we've got another new chord, F major 7. All right, now look at that. It's similar to the C chord. It's a diagonal shape, but they're all in kind of a nice little neat line, that neat diagonal line there. So we've got the 3rd finger on the 4th string 3rd fret, we've got the 2nd finger on the 3rd string 2nd fret, and we've got the 1st finger on the 2nd string 1st fret, and we strum from the 4th string. So there's just 4 of those notes to strum. So we'll just do that little bit of the tune, but we're going to put it into a rhythm. All right. Now, I know with House there are... It has that kind of feel, not exactly like that, bit of a quick version there, but I'm better with finger picking, as that's what classical training does for you, really. It's an absolute great technique to be able to do the classical guitar. Sometimes I find the plectrum, although it's good for rock playing, can be slightly kind of getting in the way because it's not coming off my fingernails. But never mind, this is plectrum technique after all today. So I'm going to do this. This is a rhythm. Now these are rhythms you can try. I've talked about 4 chords there. A minor, C, D major, and then an F, right? Now, I mentioned last week about picking a song. Did anyone pick a song? Did anyone try a song? I bet some of you didn't. Well, that's something you could maybe have a look at. As I say, it's some good fun you can have with your parents. You don't have to, I mean, come on, the resources available are amazing, aren't they? When you think you can look up a song and it just comes up with all the chords, sometimes with the boxes written at the start of the song, depending on what YouTube channel you use. I'm not going to mention any, but you know, scrolling through, you'll find them. Anyway, okay, so I'm going to start, just use the A minor chord, and basically we're going to just start with this. We're going to go down, 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 up. So that becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. See what's happening? So I'm going down, 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 down. Next beat. Sounds like a kind of Western, doesn't it? A little bit. Yeah. So, all he needs the whistling in there. And then you can extend that. So you go down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. And then you can extend it again to being down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, up. And then you can do it one more time with down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Yep, okay, you get that kind of feel about it. Obviously, that's not the style of House the Rising Sun. I'm just using that simple chord progression as a way of practicing the rhythm. So, as I say, you can have a go at that. So let's just quickly recap. The first part of today's lesson was plectrum technique, using scales, whether it's the simple A minor pentatonic or whether it's the more advanced A minor pentatonic. We then decided to look at some rhythms with down, up, down, up, down, up picking. We talked about anchorage. We talked about holding the plectrum. I emphasized about positions a little bit as well, where you must get the right finger for the right fret. We then went on to the power chords and we did Smoke on the Water and have a little bit of fun around that. Either version will work. And who knows, if some of you have got electric guitars and you press that distortion switch, well, one finger will do it all for you. You know, you'll just press that and you'll get a full sound, yeah? But the art is making the sound. And on a guitar like this, there's no excuses. You've got nothing to fall back on. There's no plug, there's no switch, there's no fancy gadgetry, no foot pedals. It's all coming from the fingers. Well, from the bare necessities of the makings of the guitar. And then finally, we've talked a little bit about House the Rising Sun, best part of the verse, and we've been using the rhythm technique, which I mentioned last lesson. Okay, so as I say, keep looking at songs, and in a lot of the songs, I'm not going to mention artists' names, but you know, they do suggest a rhythm, and it'll be D-U, D-U, which stands for down up, and they'll have it as either in a form of tablature or with arrows. Anyway, I know this has been an early lesson, but I wanted you to get it straight away. So later this morning, this will go down. And good luck with it. And I'll see you next week for Pop and Rock Lesson 3. Look after yourselves.